Thank you very much, Ulf. And again, a warm welcome for everyone who is attending at this webinar. Some of you might already have heard a bit about NETadmin order management in 8.7, and for others it may be the first time. Nevertheless, welcome to this, and I will start with a general description of what is the actual purpose of NETadmin order management and what are the key benefits, and then we'll look at some of the functionality that it brings to you and the values that you can benefit from it. And then we'll go actually a bit deeper into order management, looking at how to get started with order management from the beginning, and also looking at actual use cases that I will go through with you. So what is this order management about? Well, actually order management consists of two parts. One part is the API, and the API itself is the one that is responsible for capturing and handling incoming business orders. And the other part is the user interface part, which I will also show a bit more of later on in this webinar. But mainly, the main purpose of the NETadmin order management is to be able to capture these incoming orders and decompose these orders from the products into technical services that you deliver in your network. So actually, NETadmin order management brings two new concepts. The first one is the concept of orders, and the other one is the concept of products. And this also enables cross-technology product offerings with complete automation of technologies and services. That means that the products themselves are not equal to the technical services, and the products are not in that sense aware of the underlying technology. And of course, we want to make it much easier for you to be able to integrate with NETadmin from various sources, such as your CRM system or other business support systems. And in the end, this leads to lower integration costs, and we also want to provide a solution that ensures a future-proof and sustainable solution in the long run, meaning that it will follow updates with NETadmin. And of course, overall, if you look at this, we aim to provide you a stable and quality assured fulfillment process end-to-end, from order capture to the actual part where the network is being provisioned, and by that letting you focus on business growth and boosting your customer lifetime value and also reducing customer churn. So let's go through the key functionalities that you will find in NETadmin order management. Well, to begin with, it's the order capture part, being able to receive orders for any location in your network represented by an address, and performing the decomposition of your product offerings that you offer to your end customers into the actual deliverable technical services that are being provisioned in the network. And we also provide full automation of this translation of the products which are technology independent into the actual network provisioning. So there are actually two modes in NETadmin order management. The first one is the full automated mode, where NETadmin automatically selects the appropriate technical service and technology based on what is feasible on an address. And then there is also a half automated mode, where you may have a technician looking at the order manually, and by doing that, selecting the appropriate service for a specific product. But it offers both ways of doing this decomposition of the product offerings. So it's not only about placing orders of products, it's also about being able to perform availability checks. And that's a very important part of the NETadmin Order Management API, which is often the first step before an order is being placed into the system. It allows the system that integrates with NETadmin to check the availability for products and technical services on a location. And it's based on the address and also the earliest possible delivery date, amongst other parameters. So as I said, this is often the first step before an order is being placed, just to be sure that you can actually provision a specific product, that it is available. We currently support 3 different provisioning use cases. It's the add use case, which is provide a new product on a location. We also support change of services and products. That's typically used for upgrades and downgrades, for example. But it's actually much more flexible than that. So it can change from pretty much any product to any other product. And then, of course, we also support the disconnect or cease provisioning use case for removing services in the network. Furthermore, we have also built in support for arbitrary product parameters in orders. And that's actually very important because once you have placed an order for a specific product, there might be additional information that is required in order to fulfill this order. For example, if you look at the ordering of a VoIP product, for example, at some point this provisioning often needs to know about a phone number that it will use. And in case this is something that is not automatically selected by NETadmin upon provisioning, this is something that you can send in through the order management as part of the actual order of this product. And that is what we mean with arbitrary product parameters. It can be any type of values or attributes that are required to fulfill the order. Furthermore, we support open access model in the order management module. That means that it has the multi-service provider support. When you set up, as I will explain a bit later, agreements for different type of integrators to integrate with your order management API, you will be able to associate a specific service provider for each of these agreements. And that means that each service provider will only see what is supposed to see, and the services and products that exists within that service provider. Another part is the automated order status and notification propagation. That means that NETadmin and the NETadmin order management is capable of sending out automatic order status notifications when something changes within an order. That can, for example, be if the status is being updated or if the customer required date is being changed, amongst other parameters. Another part of order management, which is not really strictly order management, but it comes hand in hand, is the ability to request diagnostics. For example, performing a port status or similar, and that can be performed on any activated services after the order has completed. And of course, this brings us all together from the service fulfillment to actual service assurance. So it means that after the actual order has been completed, you can actually use the diagnostic tools through the same API to check that everything is fine on the end location and in the network. So before getting even deeper into how it works, I will tell you a bit about how to get started with order management. So it requires a basic configuration that you need to start with. One of the important parts of order management is the implementation of a callback endpoint. So when the client or the integrating system calls NETadmin and places an order, then the client will get an immediate response. But NETadmin is also capable, as I described earlier, to send out notifications. And this is why it is required to implement a callback endpoint on the client side. And that tells NETadmin and NETadmin Order Management where to send responses such as order status updates and similar. Once that is done, you will start configuring your agreements. So that determines who can access Order Management API. And you can have several agreements. You can have one internal agreement that you use between your own integrations within your own environment, but you can also have separate agreements, one for each service provider, for example, if you invite them to use your Order Management API. And the next part is to configure the products and services that you want to offer through Order Management. So there is a difference, of course, between products and services. The products are the commercial products that you intend to offer through the API. And you will need to set them up in Order Management. And then you will have to map these products to technical services that can realize these products. And it's a one-to-many mapping. So you can, for example, set up a 10 megabit internet that could potentially be realized by 3 or 4 different type of technical services, maybe depending on technology or maybe depending on the speed available on the address. And then when you have done these first 3 bullets, then you can actually test your configuration. And that is simplest, easiest way to do that is through the user interface, where you can perform an ability request, and it lets you to choose a specific agreement and then search for available products on a specific address in the system. And that's the easiest way to check that your configuration is correct, that the agreement itself is working, and that the correct products come up for a certain agreement and on a certain address in your network. So the next part, which is once you have got this to work, is to learn a bit more about service and product priorities. So the way it works is that when you define products, as mentioned, you can pick and choose different types of technical services that can potentially realize this product in the network. And the choice of the technical service is, of course, based on the availability and feasibility to provide that technical service on the specific address. However, you need to set up service priorities. And if we look at the left picture where we have the internet fiber example, you can see in the bottom that there are 3 different types of technical services that can potentially be internet fiber product. And that's the 50 megabit, the 24 megabit, and the 8 megabit. And as you can see, the priority is from top to bottom. So internet 50 megabit is the highest priority and the one that will be selected if it's possible on the address. In similar way, you could also use the same way to set up that the fiber should have higher priority than copper. So that means that you can offer one single product externally, and then depending on the technology, it can either be fiber or copper in the end. So again, if we look at the left image, you can also see that in the top part, it's a flag where you set auto select service, yes or no. So the way it works is that if you select this to yes, then NETadmin order management will automatically determine the technical service depending on what is possible at the specific address and based on the priorities that you have selected below. If you choose to have auto select service unset, then it means that you have chosen a manual mode, and that means that a technician needs to manually handle the incoming order and select the appropriate service depending on what's feasible in that specific scenario and situation. And of course, that mode should be used in the case where you need high control of the actual technology and technical service that is being selected for a specific product. To the right, you see a similar example for IPTV fiber, which in this example can be realized through IPTV campaign, IPTV large, or IPTV small. So that was the actual service priorities. Then there is another type of priority called product priority. And that's very useful when you have orders that contain multiple products. So if we look at the example in the bottom, let's say that you have two different types of products, one which is called IPTV fiber and the other is called internet fiber. And the way it's set is that internet fiber has priority 1, and then you set IPTV fiber product to priority 2. And let's say that each one of these products have two different types of services with priority 1 and 2. So that would mean that you potentially have 4 different combinations of well, actually four different combinations that could be provisioned if you order the product, IPTV and internet in the same order. The first combination is the one where the highest prioritized service of each product is being selected. So it selects the highest of IPTV and the highest of internet. The next one is where, let's say, the internet fiber highest priority and the second prioritized service on the IPTV is selected. And the third combination is the other way around, where you have the highest prioritized service of IPTV selected and the second prioritized of the internet product being selected. And the fourth combination is, of course, where you have the last prioritized service of both products selected. So the way it goes is that combination 1 has higher priority than combination 4. But as you can see, that combination 2 and 3 can potentially have the same priority if you look at the total amount. They both have one which is priority 2 and one that is priority 1, and it equals 3 in total. So that's where the actual product priorities come in. And that says that internet have higher priority than IPTV, which means that it's more important that we select the internet with the highest priority over the IPTV. So that's why it's a combination of service priorities and product priorities. So basically, this is what you need to set up, what I showed you in the last 2 slides. Once you have the agreements in place and you have set up the products and the service mappings and you have you have configured the priorities of your choice, then you are more or less ready to start integrating with NETadmin. And I will talk a bit further about the actual integration part in the next few slides. But at first I want to show you a bit about the user interface, because as mentioned, there are two parts of order management. One is the API, which I would say is still the main part of order management. But then you also have some user interfaces in NETadmin to support order management. Of course, you have the configuration user interfaces where you set up the agreements and the products and so on. But you also have user interfaces to browse and search for orders, and you can also filter orders that are exist in the system, for example, based on the status of the order, the type of the order, different types of agreements. So it's an easy-to-use way to look up incoming orders, basically. Once you've found an order, you can, of course, go into the actual order to view all the order details. You can look at the order header, you can look at the smaller parts of the order, such as order attributes, different types of technical services and products which are part of this order. But you can also go down to the actual communication and look at the lowest communication, low-level communication that have been transmitted between order management and any other system for this specific order. But there are some editing possibilities as well on this order views, which allows you to configure the order itself. For example, you can manually set order attributes. You can manually select services. Again, if you have selected to not use the fully automated mode, then you need to go in here as a technician and select appropriate services for the products on the order. So that's one of the things that you can do through these order management user interfaces. But you can also change other details of the order, such as delivery date, and you can even update the status manually. So let's say that you manually want to cancel an order. You can do a manual cancellation, and you can also provide a message as shown on the image here to the right. And once you've done this, the order itself will end up in being cancelled, and it will also automatically send a notification to the endpoint of the client who placed the order in the first place. Order management is, of course, a lot about integration. So it assumes that you have a system somewhere that actually provides NETadmin with orders. And NETadmin order management is exposed to external systems through this SOAP Web Service API. It is built in such a way that it should work from pretty much any language of your choice. If you choose .NET, or if you use Java or any other language of your choice or platform, it's a general SOAP Web Service interface which is not built for any specific platform. However, we also ship a ready-to-use .NET client with the order management module, and that's a client that is already built and compiled for you to let you start your integrations immediately. So in case you're doing integration from .NET, I would definitely recommend you to use this .NET client. In case you want to work with Java or any other languages, there are examples on our wiki website which you can use to get started. So we all have a lot of documentation and integration examples on our website for you to use. And here is an example of how the actual integration would look like from .NET. It might be a bit too detailed for some of you. However, the main purpose here is to show that it's not that much code actually to provide NetAdmin with an order. And in this specific example, we send a provide order request, which is a request for a new product or product and service on a specific address. This order contains some selected attributes. There are much more properties that can be set in an order, but for this example, it needs an address ID, which has been provided. We also provided one or more products. In this case, it's an internet product, and we have also asked for this product to be connected immediately. So it's the customer required date is set to immediately, which means that we want it now. And there are, as I said, a lot of other properties that can be set on an order level. Here we also set contact details, which can be used in case a technician needs to get in contact with an actual client on the end customer premises, for example, for installation of CPEs or similar. And then you can also provide external requests and external consumer references to have additional references to the actual order and the consumer of this service on the client side, for example, in the CRM system. And when you send this order from the integrating part, no matter choice of language, actually, it will end up in something very similar to this. And what you will see here is that it contains some parts which are very important for the order itself. It contains an address ID, which identifies the location for the order in the network, and that address ID is equal to the address identification number in NetAdmin. So that's why you would usually need to do availability check to start with in order to get this address ID. So that shows, gives you where this order will be provisioned in the network. The other part is when do you want this order to be fulfilled? That's the customer required date attribute. And who wants this order? That's an actual external, that's a reference number to the actual consumer or the end customer, which can be set to anything in your choice. Typically, it would be a reference to a customer in your CRM system or similar. And then, of course, very important, you need to include what you want to order in the product, in the order. And that's the products in the end, where in this case it's an order of an IPTV fiber product. Okay, so now we have talked a bit about the actual configuration, and we have also gone down to quite low level of what is happening under the hood. So to bring this up to a more high level again, typically when you start doing integrations with NetAdmin, it's a very good idea to start doing some kind of integration flows to try to scope what type of flows you want to support and what type of products and types of order that you want to support. And this example here, it's example which would very well work in real life. It's an order of a voice product, and I will go through this in a bit more detail to get to give you a more understanding of the actual flow of order management. So as you can see, we have 3 different threads here. To the left, we have the client thread. That would represent your CRM system or your other BSS system or sales support system. That's the actual integrating part of this. Then you have the NetAdmin order management in the middle thread. That's the NetAdmin order management API, including the actual order management process behind it. And then to the right, you have the provisioning thread, which is the already existing service fulfillment provisioning part in NetAdmin. So in this example, it starts with the client sending out a provide order request for a new product. In this example, it's a voice service or voice product. It also tells exactly which address it wants this product to be ordered on and delivery date. So again, it's what do we want to order, where do we want it, and when do we want it. And this order is sent through the API to order management, either through the .NET client or if you have your self-client in another language. Then NetAdmin will respond immediately back with a received response. So it tells the client that, okay, we have received this order, but it hasn't really told the client that we have accepted that order, because that's something different. Because then somewhere in a bit later, NetAdmin will again call back to the client through this callback API that I mentioned earlier, and either accept this order as it is or request for more information, as in the example shown here. So in this example on step 3, it calls back to the client telling that we need more information on this order. And what is not shown here, but it will actually also tell the client exactly what the information is needed. And what will typically happen at this point is that the client will investigate this information and provide information that was requested. And in this case, it's a phone number that is required for the voice service to be fulfilled. So again, on step 4, the client will make another call to order management with amend request and provide more or less the same information as in the beginning, but also include the phone number as an attribute. And again, the order management in NetAdmin will respond back with a received message, which is a synchronous message back that, okay, we have received this message. And shortly after that, NetAdmin will call back again on step 6 and telling the client that we have accepted this order. And that actually means that, okay, everything is completed regarding the order. We, from NetAdmin point of view, we have everything needed in order to fulfill this order. And of course, this can be an iterative communication going back forth a lot of times before all the information has been completed on the order. And then somewhere close to the time when this order is going to be fulfilled, NetAdmin will start actually provisioning in the network. So the way it works is that if you have a product that you are ordering for somewhere very far in the future, it's not naturally that it will start provision immediately. It will start provisioning close to that time in the future, which means that as an integrator, you can do whatever you like with this order until this point of return, when the order starts going from the order itself to being provisioned in the network. So until this point of no return, you can cancel the order, you can make modifications to the order. For example, if you want to change products in the order, maybe you want to change the order attributes, change the phone number, for example. You can do pretty much everything with this order until the actual point where NetAdmin starts provisioning it. And that happens at step 7 on this image. That's where NetAdmin kicks on the actual provisioning of all the services that are associated to this order. And once that's done, NetAdmin will actually call back to the client telling that the process of provisioning has started, that the order has begun processing. And then when the provisioning has completed at step 9, then NetAdmin will call back again to the client telling that now the order is completely fulfilled, all the services has been provisioned, and of course it will also include in that response a list of the services. So this is the general flow of how you would do an integration using NetAdmin Order Management. Of course, before this, you will typically perform an availability check, which is not included on this schema. And also after this flow, you might very well use, for example, the diagnostic feature of NetAdmin Order Management to actually look up the services and see that everything is provisioned in the network as it should. So in that way, it completes the whole chain from availability down to checking that the order is completed correctly. Okay, I will stop there for now and let you start your questions. Thank you very much.